Yeah, it's that time, y'all. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hey, I see you there. I see you. Trying to make sure my lighting is right, y'all. Okay. It's your time to shine, girl. It's your time. Yes, yes. It's your time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. We appreciate you for coming out in the room today. I am so excited. My name is Crystal Bodie Smith, and we are yet at another episode of Story Time. And I am so excited. I am elated to have this young lady today. You know, we come to you to bring you stories from individuals. Today, we are so excited to have Miss Coco McMillian. She's a Stellar Award nominee for New Artist of the Year. She's been on BET, TV One, The Word Network, Bobby Jones, WIL. If you're local, she's been all over your television screen. You heard her voice singing with many people, and she's going to tell you more about herself. But I just want you to know, sit back and get ready to be blessed, because we want you to understand what it's like to be an artist, some of the challenges that you face, and we want to get behind the scenes and give you some more information. Good afternoon, Miss Coco. How you doing today?
I'm good, Crystal. How are you?
I'm doing just amazing, just amazing. We're so excited to have you here. I want to thank you yet again for having me on your show. You know, that's what we do. We go back and forth and we share the love back and forth. That's what it's all about. So for
Yeah.
the people who are coming and they've never heard of Coco McMillian, tell a little bit about who is Coco, the little girl, before the artist. Who is showing? What,
Well, first of all, Crystal,
they got a question in the box already. My
already?
oh,
Hold on 1 second. Let me get this.
somebody from New York City said, "I loved you, Dave."
Right. I can't really see who it is, but I love you too, New York City. I have family there, friends. I was born in New York City, so it could be anyone. Say hello to everyone. And thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal, for having me on the show. I'm so excited. It was such a blessing to have you a part of my show. They wanted to buy your books. They wanted to get more information. So thank you for that. But Coco, who am I?
So tell me your backstory. I didn't realize you was from New York too. So let me hear that history for the people. Where you from? A little bit about how you grew up, and Coco before she became the artist. What you dreamed about when you was a little girl, and some things like that.
Oh, wow. So, yes, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, Cumberland Hospital, which is no longer there anymore. So my family is still there. I came down to North Carolina with my grandmother many, many, many years ago. They ended up going to school here in North Carolina, and I was raised by my grandmother. We had a little group. She had a group. It was all her grandkids, and we were called the True Tone Juniors. And I'm talking about 5 and 6 years old. We were going around traveling, singing, because she was a preacher, and we would go behind her and sing. So I grew up in the church. I grew up singing. I grew up around music. On the flip side, my father is in music as well. The Henley Brothers is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I'm just kind of surrounded by the music thing. But as a little girl growing up, I've always wanted to sing. I was that girl that didn't really go outside, Crystal. I was the one in the mirror with the makeup, using my grandmother's stuff, powder puffs, and dressing up and having a fake microphone and putting on heels, falling through the house. That was that's what I was doing as a little girl. So I knew I always wanted to do music. It was passion for me. Um, I love the story behind it. I love the way it makes me feel when I'm singing. A lot of times I'm singing about what I've been through, my experience, my testimony, something has transpired around me, or even someone that I know, just kind of singing about their testimony. So
Wow.
growing up in St. Paul's and, went to high school, I was on all of the all of the sports teams. Was a cheerleader, did track. I love that. And even in school, doing music in the talent shows. And I remember this time when I think I was in 11th or 12th grade, my family brought me up to Raleigh to the Holiday Inn. You know the Holiday Inn is downtown, the
Yes.
Circle?
Yes.
So that was my first time coming to Raleigh,
Wow.
to audition. And I remember it was for a competition, and I did When I Think of Home.
Wow.
Yeah,
That,
well, yeah. And
that is my testimony. That's a little
When
bit.
I Think of Home.
Testimony. I'm telling you, that song is my testimony for real because what she sings about is so real to me. It's so real to me. So
Yeah.
man. So you have had singing in the pits of your soul since you were a little girl. Wow. Did you always sing gospel?
No. Well, when I was a little girl, yes, because my grandmother wouldn't allow anything else. You better not be walking through her house singing no, she called it secular song.
That's
So yeah. I grew up. I mean, it was straight, Kojic. I'm from the Church of God of Christ, so it wasn't no other stuff going on in the house but gospel.
right.
Unless I was around my cousins, so I always grew up singing gospel.
Wow. And you know what? Many artists got that start in the church. When you think about
Absolutely.
many artists, that is how they start. Do you feel as though people that start out in the church, they last longer?
Well, I think, I think so. I don't really want to say yes or no, but I think if it's in your heart, if you started off in church and it's in your heart and it's embedded in you, you're going to stick to it. Even if you, stray away and do R&B like I did, it's always going to come back because it's in your heart. It's what's planted in you. And my grandmother planted that seed in me from the start, from birth. Growing up, she planted that in me. So I knew, you know what was funny about this, Crystal?
What's that?
The whole time that, I'm singing, with Gerald and all this other stuff, I I knew, she was for me, but she was ready for me to be, doing gospel. You understand what I'm saying? She was ready for that. She said, okay, you go do what you need to do because that's your job. But I know God is gonna, call you, when God calls you, you better move. That's how she said it. When God calls you back, you better move. So it was like it was a circle, a circle. I had to go through that experience to learn and to even be a better artist and really understand the difference in singing gospel and singing R&B, because I couldn't go in there with Gerald, even though I did the gospel, but you had to, it's a certain line. You can't go in there, with all these runs and all these different things, but you have to know your audience and what to do. So I learned a lot, in my journey of singing with different artists, the secular artists, as opposed to gospel artists.
So I hear you mention Gerald Levert's name a lot, and may he rest in peace. And
Yeah.
I know singing with Gerald Levert had to be a very, very enlightening time for you because he had a lot of worth of experience in the industry. What was it that really stuck out with you the most about singing with Gerald Levert?
Oh wow. Singing with him, what stuck out to me the most, I think, was because he was such a perfectionist. What we done in rehearsal, um, it was just like on stage. We come into rehearsals. I mean, we would rehearse 10, 11 hours a day, um, with little breaks, but it was hard work. I learned hard work from him, showmanship, how to connect with the audience, just doing, things in music that people will understand and they loved, because they loved Gerald. And it's so funny, Crystal, because this topic today, when we talk about some of the challenges, and I think it was one with him was the first challenge I really had that kind of, how do I want to say, disappointed me in the music business, or just had a kind of a small effect. Just to give you the quick story, when I got with Gerald, I was with two other young ladies. And when we opened up a show for him in Raleigh. And then he told us that he wanted us, he was looking for some girls to come on tour with him. So we sent the tape, we sent the picture. It was tapes back then. Yeah, they sent the tape and we sent the picture. Well, when it comes back, I was not chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I was not chosen because the color of my skin.
Wow.
I was the dark girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was the dark girl. And I didn't know at the time, but I knew something. Something wasn't right. Something just wasn't right. So how they put it was, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to bring all three of you guys up. Once you get here, then we'll decide if we're going to keep you guys or not, But what happened was the other young ladies, they was fighting for me too. They was like, well, how did you choose us and not her? I mean, just things like that. Still didn't know. We got there, we did the audition, and he kept us. He kept all three. Now, I was just coming out of college and everything, so I was good with the other young ladies going because I knew music was in my heart. I was going to continue. But I went on. We stayed there. So I think within a year, maybe less, he kept me and let the other two girls go.
Wow. And why do you think he did that? The strength of your voice? I mean, it had to be something with your training, your background, all that time from the foundation you had. You brought some more to the table than the other. Would you say that?
Right. I would definitely say that the training, the voice, the anointing,
yes.
God, you understand? And then we had this conversation about it. The reason why I wasn't chosen.
Favor.
He told me. And he said, I'm sorry. He said, but what we was doing, the guys, and then we were looking at the pictures, like, okay, this one. Well, we need, because back then it was the light skin was in at that time when I first, so it was all about the look. So if you already had one dark person, that's just filling in. You didn't need any more. So we talked about that, and he said, I'm sorry. And I hope that it didn't affect you mentally or your self-esteem. And I said, it did.
Wow.
Because I was going through that as a child growing up, being the dark skin, calling names and, this and that. But I remember my mom and my family telling me, you're beautiful. Don't worry about what people say about your dark skin because you're beautiful. And they will see that once they get to know you, once they talk to you, and that's exactly what happened. Until that day after Joel and I talked like that ever since, I stuck with him, 11 years later, I'm still with him.
So let me ask you this. I just watched a television show yesterday where someone was talking about the very same challenge that she went through with her darker complexion. Do you think that now in 2022 that it's changed? Is that something that most people trying to go into this industry don't have to worry about today? Is it accepted more across the board now?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed because you're seeing the beautiful dark-skinned models. I think a lot of the models really help that change to cross over because when you start seeing that, so now I don't think it's as bad as it used to be back then. I think now people are just accepting you for who you are, no matter your color, your skin, no matter your race or anything like that. I think it's just now, hopefully it's about talent. That's what it should be about, talent.
Yes.
But I think now, I think it's definitely a change now more.
And the internet has changed the game. It's a new revolution going on online. Now let's talk about that. An artist has more opportunity today than they had back in the day to get exposure, to do these live performances, and to be seen. How do you feel about that now in 2022 with the way these new artists have the opportunity to get instant exposure? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's great. I think it's great in a sense because could you imagine if we had all of this back then, in the Gerald days or when I was, coming up? But I think it's good because now most artists that would not be seen or not be noticed or not be heard, they have that opportunity now to get on live and, from Instagram and Facebook and social media. So it gives them the opportunity to show themselves, because a lot of times it's some great artists out here that do not get the exposure, that do not get the opportunity. So I think social media now helps them to do that.
And
And I think it's
not just
great.
social media, but the internet itself, because back in the day, you needed the radio. You needed radio to promote yourself. And today, you can upload yourself to Apple and Spotify and all these places.
Yeah.
They can do all these things, and that's
Yes.
a new and improved way to do things from their household. You have the EPK, the electronic press kit.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot easier. But let me ask
Yeah.
you a question though. The pressures of being in the limelight, not
Oh,
private life. Like when you get out there and you get to a certain level and people know who you are, it changes things. It changes things emotionally, it changes things mentally, it changes things physically. What
yeah.
about that, Coco? What can you tell somebody who wants to get in the industry to prepare for that pressure?
Yeah. It's changed. Oh my God. The pressure. I would say to them, be careful. Be careful, what you're doing. Be careful who you're with. Be careful of who you trust and talk to, because everyone is not in your favor. Even though they smile in your face and they want this and they this and that, you have to be careful. So it's always good to have a relationship, first of all, with God, so he can lead you and guide you, no matter what. If you're in gospel, if you're in R&B, country, whatever, just have that relationship so he can be your eyes and ears, because it's the pressure. And I can see why so many people, with the suicide, with the
Yeah,
drugs, with the
yeah,
I can see that. Do I condone it? No, I don't. But I can see why, because the pressure is so heavy. They have you on a pedestal. If you don't do what they want you to do, or how they want, how they want you to do it, you know, then the pressure is on you. And that's a lot to carry, Crystal. You understand? It's a lot to carry. So you have to definitely be in prayer and have a group of people. This is my main thing. Have a group of people around you, whether it's your pastor, your first lady, your family, someone you trust to support you, to give you those encouraging moments, words every day. Have a therapist.
I was I would get ready to say, let's talk about therapists, because a lot of people
You
think that that's a negative.
nope.
Coco, I believe it's positive. I have sat on somebody's couch before. It
Yeah.
makes you feel better. It actually helps you to be able to cope with. I'm gonna use the word cope. It helps you to be able to cope. It helps you to be able to communicate and to know what to do in certain circumstances, because you got to get it out. You can't just keep all that stuff inside. You can't harbor everything. You cannot suppress everything, because we've seen an example recently how that happened. So I believe that therapy is always a great option.
Oh, Crystal, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I think I would have been crazy, or would go crazy, or, because I was like that before, like, oh, I don't know about a therapist. And again, being in this industry, it's hard to trust people when you're telling people how you really feel about something or what's going on with you, because people begin to judge you. People begin to talk about you, and they can't wait, especially if you're an artist, to go run out and tell somebody as soon as you get off the phone, girl, guess what, Coco? And when those things will happen, you have a block. It shuts you down, and you keep all this stuff boiled up inside of you, and there's no way to release it. Let me tell you, when I started talking to the therapist, that was probably one of the best things in my life. Now, do I still talk to God? Yes, he's first.
Yes,
That's my first therapist.
yes,
But to actually sit and talk to someone, to tell them about what's going on with you, to tell them about your day, to get all of this stuff out, and knowing that they will not judge you, or just to help you set boundaries, because that was one of my main things, Crystal, with my life, was boundaries.
yes, yes. That is it for, the overload. The overload, because everybody is multitasking. Everybody is carrying the weight. And let's talk about it. For women, a lot of women are forced to be in that position because they're single parent homes now. So they are the man and the woman, raising children by
Yes.
themselves. They're taking on a career, and also being at the PTA meetings, and don't let them have their own passion and they want to be in the music industry, because now they're, a lot of times they manage themselves, you know, so it is a lot. Now, let me ask you this, Coco. Back in the day, it was a lot easier to get a record deal and to get what we call a long-term deal. Today, it's not like that. You know, it's the long-term days are over. You know, it's a little bit shorter. Can you talk about that? So like when people are out here looking for, you know, that contract that's going to last them for a lifetime, it's not like that anymore. You have to be ready to keep moving, because there's short-term deals these days.
It's short-term deals. And when you come into those record labels or different things, you know, back in the day, they would have the artists, when you come, they would train you, you know, they would get, you know, pay for things, you know, they would get you ready for the live shows. But now, if you don't have that package already together and done, they're going to look at you and they're going to keep moving. Or like you said, the short term, because it's so many things are changing. Like, the world is moving fast. So you could be on for 6 months, then it's somebody else that's doing the same thing that's a little bit better. They're going to take that person, because it's all about the dollar. It's all about the money. So yeah, if it doesn't work in one place, you have to keep moving. You can't stay there. And if they don't accept you, go somewhere else. I've known a lot of people where they didn't accept, you know, them at the labels, but once they used the internet, again, social media, they went straight to it went viral.
Yes. And you know what? Like, I see Bobby Parker came in here, you know,
Hey, Bobby!
About the radio and how the radio helped the artists. And we're talking about national artists. And Bobby, you're welcome to come on in and chime in and join us as well as we talk about this. We're talking about how things have changed. And Bobby knows you two have been at these award shows. You've been at the places. You were nominated for the Stellar, so you know how this is. Let's talk about what to expect when you go into these places. What should someone expect if they are looking to try to get to the level of a Stellar Awards or any of these levels like that? What can they do to prepare themselves for those moments, to prepare themselves to have the proper etiquette and to do those things? How can someone do that for themselves? Because like you said, these companies are not providing that help anymore.
Right. Definitely, they need to work their craft. Work at your craft. Know what you're good at. Know how to speak intelligent. Have your 30-second introduction ready, because if somebody comes say, well, who are you? You need to be ready to tell them in 30 seconds who you are, what you do, and what you can do for them, because that's the attention span these days are really short. So if you can't say it within those 30 seconds, they moved on to someone else. Also be prepared, you know, talk to people that have been to these award shows and Stellar Award shows and Grammys. Talk to them and see their experience, so that once you go, you would know how to handle things and not be surprised. Or, you know, you get there, you don't win, you can't have a sore face, you can't look a certain way. You still have to know that, okay, it wasn't meant for me this time, but maybe the next time, what can I do better? So you always have to watch the ones and study the ones that went before you, so you can understand, like, when you go, you won't have those same things that happen to you. And again, it's all about your experience and who you know, and you know how well you know it. Talk to those people. Don't feel like that you just you know are the best and that you know that you're going to win, because your face will be broken really quick. This entertainment business is really it can be tricky. And if you don't have the heart,
tricky. Now let me ask you something. So you were background singer for Gerald Levert, and who else?
Gerald Levert. I did background for Aaliyah, Mickey Howard, Howard Hewitt, Patti LaBelle, and then a lot of the tours we did, like with Frankie Beverly, we was with Gerald, but we would sing for all of them, as well as the OJs. So those are some of the people.
Man, how was it to be on a show with Patti LaBelle? Man, I admire her so much. I mean, isn't she amazing? I mean, at her age, and she still produces a show, the energy level, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's use her for an example. If you're a performer and you can still go like Patty go. I mean, when you look at the Patty LaBelle's, the Stephanie Mills, you know, all these people up in age, how do you think they do it? I mean, they have to be physically fit, correct?
Yeah, yeah, definitely physically fit, eating healthy. I mean, that healthy. I remember Mickey Howard told me that I don't even think she drinks any kind of soda, any kind of juice or anything. The most important drink is water. Water. So I know it's the health. I know it's working on the craft, being around the right people. With Patti LaBelle, she is just, when I tell you, that lady is the humblest person that I've ever seen in my life. I remember, Crystal, when I was over in that opportunity, I hate that I missed that opportunity. I was over in Africa, and she, it's a long story, but just to make it short, she contacted someone to track me down. Because
Wow.
I didn't know her really at the time. I knew of her, but
Right.
not really know her. She had someone track me down in Morocco.
Wow.
Okay, they tracked me down. I had a chance to speak with her. We talked, that she was telling me that she was about to go on tour and some things, but I had already signed the contract over there in Morocco where I couldn't leave.
Right.
But here was the great thing that happened. When I came back, from Morocco, I made the stop in Jersey at one of her concerts. I told her I was going to come. Oh my God, that was the most best time I had in my life. We had a chance to talk. She was just giving me some wisdom nuggets. We took pictures. So many things that happened that night. I'm so glad. And that's the kind of people that you want to talk with, to get wisdom from, to get information, just to see, how did you do it after all these years? And she basically saying, eating right, trusting God, and knowing your craft. Always working on your craft.
And that's an
Yeah.
ongoing thing. So, what is it that you are looking to do now? You have some other things that you're doing now. You're still singing. I know
Yep.
you're a businesswoman now. You have a cafe here, and you don't open up a
Yes,
cafe.
the coffee shop. Yes.
So, so talk about that. So, what is it that you're most passionate about now? Because all those different things you're doing. I mean, where does singing fall in place now?
Well, okay. So, like you said, I have the coffee shop. Hopefully, I'll be opening back up next month. It's been closed since the pandemic, but it's located downtown in Cary at the Amtrak station, and I love doing that as well, because that gives me. It is not even about the coffee or the business. It's about the people that I meet. And my pastor told me, he said, it's not even going to be about what you sell in the coffee and stuff. It's going to be about the connection you're making with those people that's coming in.
Yeah.
So that,
Yes.
doing that gives me a chance to talk to people about different things. They always come to me about what they're going through, their different stories. So for me, being a vessel to help them get through whatever they're going through that moment has been a blessing. The Coco McMillian talk show is what I'm mostly passionate about now. Since the pandemic, well, of course, we learned that you couldn't go sing anywhere, travel. So, okay, what was I going to do? I had no idea, what I was going to do. And I got the opportunity from Dr. Eric Kelly to start this talk show. And that's something that's always been on my bucket list, to have a talk show where I can bring other artists, other people with businesses, to talk and promote their business. Because when I was coming, I didn't really have that opportunity. You had to be in different cliques. If you wasn't in certain cliques, or if you wasn't on the BA list, you didn't get a chance to be on the radio or be on the on talk shows and different things like that. So I wanted to build a platform for those that could not have, or those that couldn't pay, the ones that didn't have that opportunity. So that's what I'm passionate about now, because I think that it's going to help a lot of people. Whatever I can do to be a vessel, to be that trailblazer for someone, that's what my passion is. How does music cooperate with that, my singing? I put it all in together. I'll bring people in to sing. I'll be singing on the show. I get gigs from that. But to me, it's not about so much about the music anymore. When I have the opportunity to sing, I love it, because that is my passion. But just to see someone else blossom, to see someone else meet their goals, to see someone else live their dream, and to know that I had something to do with it, that's what fills my soul now.
Yeah, because when you have a resume like you to have sung with the, those great people, Frankie Beverly, Patti LaBelle, Gerald Levert, Howard Hewitt, Aaliyah, all those people, and some of the gospel artists. I mean, I can even imagine some of the gospel artists you've also been with. So you've been with some of the greats on both genres, both sides, the secular, the gospel. And you talked about a word before, that anointing. And the anointing is still felt even in the secular world. Let's talk about that. What is it that makes a artist that much more stronger, that comes from the church first and goes into the secular world? Is it their conviction, or what is it?
Okay. Say it again. Say it again. I want to make sure I understand your question.
When you have an artist that's sung in the church first,
okay,
something about their gift, makes them different. It's like the anointing transfers to the secular.
Yes. So I definitely think it's the anointing. When you have the anointing, no one can take that from you. That's a God's given gift. And going over to, like myself, coming out the church or whatever, and it's not bragging or boasting, but it's saying who I am in Christ, and I know that God has given me the gift. When I go over to the secular world, whether I'm singing in secular songs or not, that anointing, that gift, that church is going to come out because it's embedded. Like when I was singing with Gerald, when he would give us the opportunity to do a song on our own for the show to come out, guess what I would do? A gospel song. Why? Because it's in me. That's how I was raised. And it's that relationship that you have with God. You don't have to be so much in the church. It's your relationship. So when I used to sing with him and I would go out and sing my gospel songs, they knew it. Or when I went to Morocco, I'm singing R&B songs and, clean, R&B songs, but they knew I was a gospel artist. Why? Because they could see it or feel the anointing. So and my pastor always told me, he said, it's not about what you sing, it's who you're singing to. So if I'm singing a Patti LaBelle song, I'm still, whatever the words are, I'm singing it still to God because I know he's given me that gift. So to answer your question, I think it's just what's in them. So if they go on the R&B side, it's going to come out. You're going to be able to tell it's a gospel artist.
Now, the other thing I always tell artists is be ready on the spot. If you meet somebody, be ready to sing. Be ready. Like somebody might ask you, "Oh, you sing? Well, give me 30 seconds." And have a clean version. Like I said that to a lot of the rappers, have a clean version. Singing and being able to act on the spot is very good. Now, I do see a question in the box from Fenton, and thank you so much for joining. I see Capo and a couple people that have come in. We're speaking with Coco McMillian. She had been a national recording artist for many, many years. She started out in the church, and then she just was blessed enough to sing background and accompany many, many national artists. Had been nominated for many awards and just been on BET and all the main stages you could think of. So she definitely has many nuggets she can share with you. If you have a question, put it in the question box. But one question came up. Do you have performances at your coffee house, or are you planning on having performances? I think that's a question, because I would love to ask that too.
Good question. Yes, I am planning on that was my vision when I first started in the coffee shop. When they gave me the opportunity to be in that coffee shop inside the Now this is inside the Amtrak station. So can you imagine?
Yes.
Once we really get it set up, having a little jazz section over there. See, they don't know the vision yet. They just know, they just know that I've been there selling coffee, but they know that I'm an artist. I'm allowed to sell my CDs and different things like that. But to answer your question, not yet, but it's in the works. That's my vision and my goal to one day to have these performances inside the coffee shop.
No, because I would love to assist you with that if you do it. We know a lot of different artists in the area. Like you said, it's great for the up and coming artists, but also I love the jazz too. And we need more of that around, because as we get older, we just can't, have enough to do, you know, like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't party like we used to. You know, some of us, we outgrew a lot of those things. So we want these
Right.
environment, and what better way. And then I'm going to tell you something. Coming to North Carolina on the Amtrak, and then to come into that setting where you have some coffee and some light music playing and stuff like that, or waiting for your train. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, that's a wide open playing field. I'm saying,
Yes.
and you could be very diverse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's diversified. So you have all kind of artists coming in there, all genres. Man,
Right.
oh man.
Right, right. It's so much need. It's so well needed. Like you don't see that really in the train stations, but and like you said, to have that diversity, people being authentic, you know, just it would be so it would just change the whole traveling circuit.
Yes,
I think for
yes.
Amtrak.
And let me know when you do that, because that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, that's gonna be big.
Yeah.
How big is it? It's a pretty nice location, a pretty nice size. I know about the Amtrak
Yes.
station. How big is your coffee area, the seating area? How many people can you see, or would they just be in the station and they can hear it?
They would be in the station because I have the corner there area where I'm set up there. So there's enough chairs and tables and different things in there where they can just sit down as they're waiting for their train. And if they want to come over there, you know, we have the little tables, that's fine. But it's enough enough space there inside the train station where they could just kind of sit and watch it, and they'll definitely hear it. But it's a really nice, clean station there in Cary. And it's a lot of, and the other thing about that, not only the train customers, but you know, they have the bus. The bus, that's where they make their stops there. You know, that's going to Raleigh or, you know, just
Wow.
around there. So you have the transit there. So you pulling in different kind of people, all types of people from different
Oh,
areas. It will be certainly amazing.
is that with Go Transit? Go.
Yes, the
Wow.
Amtrak is one of their stops there in
Oh,
Cary. Yeah.
yeah. So, oh my goodness. So you have the indoor, you have the outdoor, and the acoustics is probably
You know I love the acoustics. I'm like, oh my God.
wow.
Yeah, I see she said open mic, spoken word. Yes, all of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, if somebody's interested now, if somebody goes back and does the replay, and they say, "Oh, I heard Coco talking about her podcast. I heard her talking about this coffee shop." How can they reach out to you? Where would they reach out to you to express interest to be involved in any of those things?
Okay. And let me say this first, Crystal. You know, now, you know how remember back in the day when they said, well, people only had your telephone number, they can reach you. You know, if they didn't have your telephone number, they, you know, or their email address. Now it's it's a plenty of opportunities and ways to reach me. So the first one, Instagram. You can reach me at Coco McMillian Music on Instagram. On Facebook, it's at Coco McMillian 7. My email address is cocomacmillanmusic@gmail.com. So you can reach me there. So it's so many, just inbox me, send me a message on Facebook. You can go to my other Facebook page, which is Sean Coco McMillian. So, and then reach out to Crystal. She knows me. So there's so many ways to reach out to me. I am available. Reach out to me. But again, even my telephone number.
Wow.
Well,
So now, Coco,
oh, wait.
everything is not always peaches and cream.
No,
So
no.
that, like the song says, my good days outweigh my bad days. So if you could change anything about some of the negatives that you experienced being in the music industry, what would be some of those things?
Trust. Trusting the wrong people. I think for me, trusting the wrong people kind of made me take a step back, you know, for a while. And you know, this was years ago. I just kind of stepped back, just kind of came out the industry because I was hurt.
Yeah, because it's a
I was
little cutthroat, right? People are greedy.
cutthroat.
The integrity level is not always going to be there. So that's where that relationship part comes in, where you really
Exactly.
know who you're dealing with. So even though it sounds good, when you said perfect your craft, like you need to do your research before
Yes.
you get involved with certain people, it
Yeah.
sounds good. And if you are new get you a manager. Get you
Get
somebody
you.
who can do it for you, who can negotiate for you.
Can I say something about that?
Yes.
It is so important. It is so important about a manager. And people will ask me all the time, why you have a manager? Why? No, the reason why I have a manager is because that's what they do, manage the artist. They need to talk to the people that want to book you or these other things, because what we need to be focusing on as the artist is our gift, our craft, our music, what we're performing, our show. People will come to me all the time, Crystal, ask me about gigs and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they know that they need to go to my manager. If they know that I'm going to say yes. So that's why they come to me. And then they don't want to pay you. I mean, you know the game. It's all that. So that's hard on an artist, because when you continue to do that to an artist, you coming directly to them, they're not really going to tell you all that like for instance, giving you the price that you need because maybe you a friend. But then they don't know that on the back end, I'm losing out. Like, if this is what I do for a living, how do I supposed to live? And they don't even understand about when you asking me, so it's 100,000 other people asking the same thing. So then it's like, okay, where are you when I need my rent paid? Where,
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying?
So in other words, if you support me, if I'm the artist, if she's the artist and you love her and you support her and you appreciate her gift, go through the proper channels.
Go through the
Go
proper
through the channels. Don't be trying to get a shortcut. Don't be trying to get the hookup. Like, because there's a lot that goes into these performances, when it comes to the sound, when it comes to the preparation, when it comes to their needs that they need on set, if they have background singers,
Right.
they know all the things. And it's not fair when you go to your family member always thinking that they're going to sing for you at the wedding or they're going to do the birthday song. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Take care
Yeah.
of expenses. Take care of the gas. Take care, getting them that fruit tray that they may need. Get them some water. Don't
Yeah.
go looking for them to do this for you because you know them.
Because you said something right there. Even if it's not a honorarium, like you say, the gas, especially now the gas is going on, or something. Because again, and I do a lot of stuff free, for people. I love. I mean, if you don't do that, that's not good. Something is wrong. You have to do things that's free, because a lot of times it's not about the money. I have, and Bobby can tell you, Bobby, Melissa Wade, Jerry Smith, all those. I love those guys, and I would do anything for them. Then now you have somebody off the street that really don't know me that's coming to ask me to do them a favor free. Come on, that's a big
Oh,
difference.
that's a little different, See, also understanding when is the right time to give. I mean, yes, we all give. There's a trade-off there, but
Right, right,
your manager will know when to give you that promotion because there's something that you're going to receive from that, and the kid
right,
might, what would you say, set one or two totally free events a year, but you're going to limit those. You're going to limit
right,
those, and I think every artist should have a limit to how many free events they do, because you can get on your live, you can go live, you can sing all day, you can get all the exposure you need. So back 10 or 20 years ago, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't
right,
have, we didn't have TikTok, so it was easier to get somebody to do a promotional show because they
right. They
exposed.
needed exposure,
In
right?
2022, we
No,
don't need that for themselves,
right.
So that's really a lot, Is there
Yeah.
anything particular that's on your mind that you would want to share about about your podcast, or something you have coming up, an event,
Yeah.
thing that you would like to share? You may take this time, and please make sure you put your links in here, because Mark is going to come back and he's going to reload this, and we're going to reshare this out on a Facebook platform, on all the different platforms. Because Coco, I'm working to get me an Instagram producer so that I can simultaneously go
Yeah.
live, so that when I'm doing the IG live, I'm also live on the IBM platform and the other one. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So that I don't keep playing or re-air it. I'm trying to set it up so I can do it. But we can't be a podcaster and a producer at the same time. That's not going to happen. So right now,
Yeah.
a re-air, but
Yeah.
a great opportunity for people to get that exposure, because that's what it's all about for me too, telling the stories, because when you share your experiences, it helps the next person that's trying to come on out there. And that's what
Yeah.
it's about, us helping. We got to help, because some people won't ask the question. They'll just go listen to a live.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Like some people won't ask a question, but in their downtime, in their car, or when they're sitting in the doctor's office, they'll listen to somebody live, and then they'll get what they need. So isn't God real strategic about that, Coco? You see what he's doing?
So strategic. Yes. Mm.
And
He is so strategic.
that's what came to me when I thought about story time. I said, okay, story time is a way for us to get those testimonies out there, because
Yeah.
we breaking those jokes, because everybody's not gonna ask. Sometimes you just gotta hear it.
Right.
Sometimes you're not even looking for the information, but you just hear something and you go, wait,
Right.
let me replay that. Let me play that again, because that's
Right.
what I did today.
Right. You're right, because some people are not gonna. They're shy. They're in their shell, and they may be nervous to come and ask you about a particular thing or something that they're going through, or again, they may have trust issues and feel like they can't say anything. But if they're listening to you live, if they scrolling through and listen to something, that's how God has made this strategically, because they can hear, and it's for them. Because I know I've done that. I've been going through something that day, and I happened to stroll through something, and it was just like the person was talking to me. It was just for me, and I couldn't tangibly touch that person, and I could thank them, on Facebook or on whatever, and just say, send a message. But I got what I needed. I got the answer that I needed, and then it helps you, throughout life. And just encouraging, people, that's on here today, and that may go back and listen, whatever that it is in life that you want to do, you want to pursue, just trust God in his journey of what he's taking you through to get there. Don't try to be like putting it in a microwave and try to get it fast. Because if it happens fast, it's going down fast.
Come on now, say that again. It is not, it is easy or quick.
Right.
And trust the process. That's what you said.
Trust the process.
Whatever bumps and bruises you go through, it's going to make you stronger, and you have to go through it, because if you don't, then you're going to be missing something that you need. Like, what I'm saying? You think, okay, I need to get there real quick. And sometimes you can get there too fast, and now, you half done. It's like you baking a cake and you take it out too quick. It looks like it looks perfect, but when you stick that fork in it, when you stick the fork in it, the middle is not done. And you don't have done artists.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, go ahead and go through those steps, take it slow, do the research,
yes,
relationships with the right people. Take care and cultivate that craft, man. Keep going, working at it. Learn about the different do's and don'ts. Get your image right. Let's talk about that one last thing before we close this out. The image, Coco, the image. Because in 2022, it looks like anything goes, right? It looks like, they can come in any direction. Yes, you can be individual. You can have your authentic self in there, but you still have to have a professional image in doing that. Am I correct?
You are certainly correct. I mean, you be you. I said all the time, be you, boo, but have some class about you too. Have your class, have the image, because people are not only looking at what you're doing, but they're looking at you, how you dress, how your hair is, how your clothes, what you're wearing, how you carrying yourself. Because you can sing, let me tell you something. You can have the best voice in the world, but if you look a certain way and you're not really taking care of they're not gonna mess with you. So you gotta love yourself first. When you love yourself, everything about you and in you will come out. So that craft, that whether you're sassy, whether you whatever, it will come out. And take it for what it is. God has made you to who you are. So I want you to explode in who you are, not somebody else. Like, I can't be Crystal. I can be Coco. So, and don't let anyone stop you from being who you are. Don't let them try to tell you, yo, you need to be this person. You need to act like this, because that ain't gonna last. Be you and let them accept you for who you are and have the class about you. And I'm telling you, it would take you so much further. And God will put you on platforms that you wouldn't even imagine. Because sometimes we want to be on certain platforms. Now, God said, I want to place you here in a whole different culture.
Yes. Yes.
You understand? And so when you're ready for that, you can get it done.
Yes. Yeah. And so I hope you heard something here today that really, really inspired you, because I know there are a lot of people that are looking to still, tap into their gift. And the gift don't have to be singing. The gift could be in another area too. You could be a different type of performer. You could be a mime dancer. You can be just a dancer. But
Yeah.
all of these are still tips that you really need to understand. And, constructive criticism goes a long way. So you have to be able to receive it and check your attitude too, while you're at it. Make the
Yes.
right attitude too, because that goes,
Yes.
so all these things, man, all these reasons that we are sharing with you can only help make you a better artist. And so today you heard from Coco McMillian. Once again, she has her own podcast here, and I'm going to make sure we share the link. She's also going to be providing opportunities for artists in the future to locally come and do some things in the Cary, North Carolina area. So if
Yes.
you're in this area, even if you're passing through,
Yes.
I'm sure if you're passing through, and eventually it's going to grow. It's going to be new, but I can see it by next year, this time, it's going to really blow up, because Coco has a lot of connections from her national stages that she's been on all around the country and everywhere. So it's going to be amazing. Coco, I just want to thank you for sharing, man, because it's so needed, man. So many people, which is one of my pet peeves, so many people forget where they came from, and they hold all this information and they don't want to tell nobody anything. And so I just thank you for sharing, because that's what it's all about, going back and helping somebody else to get where you are and where
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So
You're welcome. Thank you,
I
Crystal.
look forward. When is your next podcast?
It's actually going to be coming up this Thursday. This Thursday, I have a podcast, and it's Siobhan Robinson. So this month, I'm going to be focusing on stories,
Okay.
people that have been through different things. So this week, this young lady is coming on to talk about her mother in substance abuse,
Okay.
and how she was, born into that. So then the
Yeah.
next week is something else. The next week, we're talking about of someone that this child having challenges in abuse, period, like mental abuse,
Yes.
physical
Yes.
abuse. So this whole month is gonna be excellent with some of the people that's coming on the show. Also, Saturday, and I think the tickets are already sold out, but I'm going to be at the Shriners Club with
Okay.
Miss Mabel that's doing a fashion show.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Saturday.
yeah,
This weekend.
that's this weekend. And then with Melissa Wade, we got the play that's coming back up, Divided Together. That is May the 15th. It's Wade in the Water Productions with Melissa Wade, producer of this play called Divided Together.
Wow.
May the 15th at the Fruit in Durham. It's going to be off the chain. I'm
Please
telling you, we have some
let
wonderful people
me
in there.
love to check those. I see that's the kind of stuff I like to do. You know what I'm saying? So please let me know about them. I will definitely be looking for that in any one of my inboxes or on my phone. I thank you once again for coming through, and we look forward to connecting with you. I meant what I said about the Cary place, because I used to be a booking agent for a couple of restaurants, a couple of local places. That's what I did, and making sure artists came through. So as I get ready to retire full time from my job, I'm leaning back towards doing what I love, which is things like this, being a host on some shows, entertainment, promotion, booking, all that, because that's where my passion is. That's what comes naturally to me. So, yeah, please don't hesitate to call me. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another episode of Story Time, and we'll be back at 7 o'clock today. 7 o'clock tonight will be Jay Durrell, comedian Jay Durrell, a former police officer, who's going to come and talk about his journey, why he decided to leave the police force, what it's like from the comedian standpoint. We're not going to address all the stuff that we saw last week, but at the same time, we are going to have some things that's going to empower you, that's going to be very relevant in regards to things that's going on in the world today. That is what Coco and myself try to do, is to always give you another source for redirection and encouragement, you know, based on the people that we have on our shows as guests. So thank you so much for joining. Any closing comments, Coco?
I just want to say thank you, Crystal. Much favor to you. I know that everything that you are that you need, it is coming in double folds. The best is yet to come. So God has not forgotten. He's getting ready to do some things for you that's going to blow your mind. I'm just excited to be, you know, in your corner. Whatever you need from me, I'm here for you. God bless everyone. And just know, trust God in the process.
You can't go no better than that. Trust God. That's it. That's the bottom line. On that note, we'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock on another episode of Story Time. You have a blessed day. Remember, my name is Crystal Bodie Smith. I aim to just recycle hope. That's it. You know, we heard the term keep hope alive. So now I'm trying to recycle that hope over and over again. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. Through the words of other people's testimony, you're going to get recycled again. All right. Have a blessed one. We'll see you tonight, 7 o'clock. Thank you, Coco.